Okay, so I am going to make a fringe bag, and I have some scrap leather pieces that my friend Lena gave me here. And you can make this, I like to make this with scraps, irregular pieces, because it's really hard to find like a whole hide without paying like a ton of money. And then it gives it a lot of character. So this was one piece that was like this. And then this piece is like this. And basically you need a big enough piece to create the body of the bag. This is about, I want to say, a foot across and about 10 to 12 inches high. And to make these, you don't really need a pattern. You just kind of let the piece dictate what the bag is going to look like. That's the beauty of it. So I'm just going to fold this in half and kind of keep it as is. And then I have this other piece that has like this really nice kind of washed out discoloration here. And I was thinking that this could be like the top flap of the purse. And then I have some more of this leather, and it's a lot thinner, and thin leather is really great for fringe. So I'm going to cut this in half. So like I'm going to just cut this in half right here, and I'm going to sew it to this side and to this side. And just to give this bag a little bit of a twist, I have some gold, which is right here actually. And I think I'm going to kind of give myself some gold fringe to it too. All right, so let's get started. All right, so I've cut the leather pieces down so that they can connect a little bit better to each other. So the top part of this, I just seriously just cut it straight across, and I'm gonna sew one stitch to connect this up here at the top. I may or may not even that out, or I might sew it on. I haven't decided yet. Maybe I can do something with it. And then I just cut that big strip in half. There's one side there and one side here. I'm going to just kind of tuck these in here about maybe 3/4 of an inch. Fold that over, and I'm going to sew this down here, insert this the same way, and sew it there. So 3 stitches I'm going to make. One here, and this piece attached there. And that's pretty much it. So sorry about this floor. My whole house does not look like this. I just have one craft room that just looks crazy. So I'll show you what that looks like sewn. Okay, so here it is all sewn. I sewed this top part. I did end up cutting it straight, and I also ended up cutting that seam straight so that it would just be a little bit more uniform there. But the whole point of making this is for it to look very effortless and natural looking. So the rough pieces just really add to the beauty of it. So there's that, and then just the side seams where I layered that blue leather, a little bit of the gold leather, and here in the front, some scrap pieces, I sewed that here. And I know it looks crazy, but the easy part is done. Now it's time for the hard part. Here on the sides, you're just going to have to cut these very thin fringes. And that is what takes a long time. Usually it takes me about maybe 2 hours to cut the fringe on the bag. So I'll show you how to do that. You are going to have to use some very good scissors. So if you don't have some really good scissors, maybe get a brand new pair of scissors and cut the fringe, because a dull pair will make your life miserable. Okay, so here is the fringe that I'm starting to cut, and they're about 1/4 of an inch. The smaller, the better. And you just take your time with it, make sure it's nice and straight, and cut the whole thing. And once this is all cut, all the unevenness of this leather will go away, trust me. Okay, so here I've cut some of the gold. You can see it's coming along very nicely. Still haven't started the other side yet, but just take your time with it. Take lots of breaks. If your hand starts to hurt, you know, do something else. But yeah, just take your time with it because you'll be very happy with the end result instead of rushing through it and making the fringe too thick. It really looks nice and the fringe is nice and thin. So here you can see you just pick one up and then you just cut it at an angle. Super easy. Just like that. Here, now that I've cut the fringe, it looks a little less choppy and a little bit more bohemian. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more fringe right here on the side. So I'm going to sew these on like how I sewed all the other fringe. And I'm also going to cut those too, just to give it a little more fullness here. I think it needs it. This is a abalone shell, and I may or may not put that here on the front, just so that it has a little detail right there. If you don't know me yet, I am in love with mermaids. So now that I've done all the fringe, I thought I'd create, just do a couple of braids, and then I'm just going to sew them in place. That way it has like a nice little pattern. So I've, now that I'm done with all the fringe and I'm happy with the way this braid looks and I've sewed it down, I decided to add that shell detail, which is right there. And what I did is I put a little bit of glue on the shell using this glue right here, which is Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. I don't find good success gluing leather because the surface is very smooth. I still have to get this good glue that Lena, my friend, recommended to me, and I'm going to get that glue. But I do find you can glue the nap side of the leather, which is this. So since this is the braid that I did, I put glue on the shell and I knew it was going to glue on the nap side. So this should stay very nicely, and I'm using some clothespins to hold it down while it's gluing. And you do need 24 hours for this glue to dry, and once it's on, it is super on. Now that this is dry, it's time to make the strap. So this is some paracord at Hobby Lobby, and they have it in every single color. And I like using paracord because it doesn't stretch, and you can really find it to every single color fabric, and it's so strong. So here you get 50 feet, and I'm going to divide this in like about 3 lengths. So whatever 50 feet is divided by 3 lengths, and I'm just going to braid it. I've attached it to a doorknob so that it's easier to braid, just if you were wondering how to make a really long, massive braid. Braid's all done, and mine measures about 53 inches, so you want to braid it for as long as you want the length of the bag strap to be. So I want it to be crossbody and hit my hips. You might want to have it, you know, maybe just like mid-chest area is also cute too if you have really long fringe. So however you want. So just keep braiding until you reach your desired length. I've cut out just a little leather strip, and here I am on the inside of the bag, just on the side, and I'm just going to sew all around this strip and then an X in the middle, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like once it's sewn. So just a little rectangle with an X in the middle will make it so super secure. I've had one for about 4 years that I've sewn like this, and it has never come apart. I put a ton of stuff in it, and if you see on the back side, it's barely visible. So it'll be super sturdy if you sew it like this. And then if you want to, you could cut this off. It doesn't bother me, and I just keep it on. And you can also burn these edges so that it doesn't have that look of it's frayed, but it doesn't mind. I don't mind it like this on the inside. This is the finished product. Super nice. This would be great for like maybe a music festival like Coachella. maybe in the summer, maybe with just like a white dress, something really simple, because this is accessory enough for sure. I always like to wear like a ton of bracelets and a really fun bag. That's like my signature look. Thank you for watching. Bye.